Hello, everyone. Facebook fans, Press Pass is back again. I haven't done this for a while, and I'm doing this for a very special reason. Everyone, we are coming back to the UK. Impact Wrestling is returning to the UK for the first time since 2008. We are hitting Glasgow. We're hitting Newcastle for the first time, and we are coming back to Coventry, where it all started. And so I am here, myself, Gail Kim, Impact Hall of Famer, to field some questions. And of course, our special guest, our former X Division champion, former three-time tag team world champion, and our current Impact world champion. Please welcome Alex Shelley. Hey,
everybody.
Alex.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today.
You're doing a great job hosting.
Great intro for our world champion. Alex and I go way back. We're both part of the first UK tour, which is very special to us. Our UK fans are, for me, the most special, loyal, been there from the very beginning. It's always a really special time for us to come back. And it's been almost 8 years, you guys. So we're super excited. I feel like we're going to open up the questions. We can talk Bound for Glory, which is right around the same time as well. So please, all the Press Pass folks, please understand that we have a lot of questions and a lot of media outlets. So please just raise your hand. One question for now, maybe a little follow-up question if we have time, and we can go ahead and start. Please raise your hands if you want to start off and ask Alex Shelley, our world champion, a question. Okay, first question. We're going to go to Nerdly from UK. Welcome to Facebook Press Pass for Impact. So go ahead and ask your first question. Do we have you, Nerdly UK?
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I didn't think I was going to get thrown up straight away.
Oh, yeah. You're first up. Special.
Right, guys. Well, first of all, massive thank you for coming back to the UK. It's been 8 years. You know, they said it might never happen again. They said that, you know, Impact won't come to the UK, but the faithful kept the faith, and you're coming, and we can't wait. My question is probably quite a simple one, and it's to Alex, firstly, and it's, we've got a lot of homegrown talent over here, a lot of amazing British wrestlers as well. Alex, if you could main event or knock heads with one of our British guys, who would it be?
Ah, man. He's not there anymore. I would have said Chris Brooks if you would have asked me a little while ago, right? So I'll go with Lycos for now. Yeah.
And would there be any kind of stipulation on that, or would it just be a straight head-to-head fight?
Great match.
Awesome. And Gail, how much are you looking forward to coming back over here?
I'm super excited. I haven't actually done anything performance-wise in a long time. So you're going to, Tommy Dreamer and myself, who you normally don't see participating in the shows lately, we will be making special appearances. So you never know what we'll be doing. I'm super excited. Like I said, the fans here have always been super loyal. Some of my, fans from day one have come from the UK. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Glasgow, we got some old faces and some homegrown talent there. We got Joe Hendry. We got Grado making a special appearance, which is going to be super exciting. So I hope everyone comes to check us out.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We've been waiting a long time, but it really feels like we've been rewarded by you guys for keeping the faith, and I cannot wait to see you guys over here, and I'll be down at Newcastle hopefully, and
awesome.
You guys are going to smash it. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your question. Appreciate it. Next up, we'll have Ash from TWM News. Is that correct?
Hey, Gail, how are you?
Ash, how are you?
I'm good. Good seeing you again.
Me too.
Well, you know, we can talk about homegrown talent. My question is, of course, to both of you. First, let's congratulate Alex Shelley for becoming Impact World Champion, the King of the Indies, the technical messiah, the working class hero. Let's see, what else?
Mentor to so many.
The Iggy Pop of pro wrestling. any concerns? I know Bound for Glory is around the corner. We're not going to ask questions about that, but something has caught my eye on social media because, you know, I take a look at everything. Any concerns with Macklin around the corner? Because he seems to be popping up.
Macklin's hurt, right? So he's not in my peripherals right now. He's got a groin injury, and last I heard it was going to be at least 6 to 8 weeks, with maybe a reassessment and maybe a potential referral out to a surgeon. So he's working hard to rehab it, but I've got bigger fish to fry. I think my biggest concern right now is Tanahashi. I got about 3 weeks to prepare for that. And that match is super special for me because he was one of my senpais in Japan and somebody I just had the utmost respect for. So for me to finally get a singles match with him after teaming with him so many times, that's like a dream come true.
And Alex, is that going to be a multiverse?
That'll be a
Multiverse too
Yeah.
in Philadelphia.
Tanahashi, I mean, like I always said, represents, to me, New Japan, represents the Lion. So, Gail, any chance we're going to see you in the ring in the UK?
Oh, well, you never know. You know, sometimes you get that little itch. I watch these guys do it week in and week out. And of course, I have the passion deep inside of me. So, of course, once in a while, you get that little itch, but it's got to be something special, right? And I guess the UK tour is something special. So you never know.
Yeah, never know.
Appreciate it, Ash. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
question. Okay, next we have Dean from Body Slams and Drop Kicks. Dean,
Good evening, you two. How are you?
welcome.
Good,
That's fast.
Alex, first of all, congratulations on becoming Impact World Champion.
Thank you
One
much.
of my co-hosts, Mr. Fraser, sends his utmost congratulations to you.
Thank you from him.
Gail, been a while.
Yes, been a minute.
So the question I have for you two is, I last went about 9-10 years ago to my last Impact event, been begging Impact to come back to England ever since. So for me, the question is, how will this tour compare to the last one I went to see in the 2010s?
Want to go ahead, Alex?
Oh, geez. If I had to be transparent, the roster is totally different now. And in my opinion, the entire company is more cohesive than it was a decade and a half ago, almost, when we first scored there. I feel that the overall product is very, very unique at this point, more wrestling driven. So I would say you can probably expect more emphasis on in-ring action, which I think ultimately is what most pro wrestling fans want.
And I think the like we say, United Kingdom, those fans, you know, they've seen a lot of wrestling, but they haven't seen Impact in so long. And like Alex just said, there's going to be a small amount of that talent that might have been the same from back then, which is you, Chris Sabin, you know, I'm myself, which I'm already retired, but you're going to see a whole new influx of really talented wrestlers. And I mean, I think the energy level is going to be on another level since it's been 8 years. And we're super excited. You know, we've been just saying we were hoping for this tour to happen, and the day has finally come. So,
And I
See you
could not
there.
be happier it's coming back.
thank you.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Steve.
Hope to see you two on the tour.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Next up, we have Rory from Team Venom Media. Rory? We got you, Rory? No? Let's see. Are we not connected? Okay, we're trying again with Rory. So here we go. We have him. I was going to ask Alex about Bound for Glory as well. Rory, are you there? We see your name and we see your
Hi,
No, we
Gail.
can
Hi,
see you.
Alex.
Okay.
How's it going?
Is this
Hey,
Rory
good.
or is this Dean?
Sorry, I've just had it randomly kicked me out to put me back into the
Oh,
Zoom
okay.
for some reason. Sorry about that. With the upcoming UK tour and Bound for Glory and whatnot, one of at the moment, Impact's got a very strong roster. Alex, you've faced virtually everyone on that roster at some point in time. Is there anyone that you'd like to see elevated to the main event level to face you at either the tour or Bound for Glory?
I think one of the unique things that Impact has going for it right now is that quite often see people cross over from one area of the company to another. And what I mean by that is it's not uncommon to see somebody skip from the X division and challenge for the world title. Whereas 15 years ago, that was not the case. Everybody was segregated into whatever bucket they tended to compete in. For me, I do have a collection of favorite opponents, and I'd be remiss if I'm missing anybody, but like, I like the technicians. I like the Jonathan Greshams. I like the Eddie Edwards. I like the Josh Alexanders. And I like the people who bring a different style as well. That would be like, for example, like a Black Toulouse or a Speedball Mike Bailey. So the ones that test me in things that I'm already good at, and then the ones that make me step outside my comfort zone are the ones that I think creatively inspire me the most inside the ring.
I think Alex is a perfect example of one of those talents that, you know, like I said, he was an X division champion. He was a tag team champion, and now currently he's our world champion. I mean, there's a handful of talent that I see on our roster that are absolutely, like he just named a couple of those people, and people like Macklin who already have been in the X division that have shown such diverse range and show that they're capable of going from one division to the other and taking those championships. So Alex has a lot to, you know, he's got that target on his back now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex, and thanks, Gail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Sam from WrestleSphere. Sam?
I was muted. I'm not muted anymore. I knew I was going to do that at some point. There we go. Okay, it was only a matter of time. Right. So I'm going to have a bit of fun with this question. So we've seen, again, we're loving it in the UK. We've seen a little bit of wrestling recently, quite a bit more than we usually get. We're being spoiled. And you guys coming over is the icing on the cake, by the way. Trust me, I popped when I saw that press release. But there's one thing with the UK crowd. We are known for being rowdier than most other places in the world. And I'm including Canada and Chicago in that as well. So having a look at some of the wrestling we've watched in recent weeks, recent months, are you prepared for that crowd? Because we are jonesing for some impacts.
Oh man, I think the crowd is what makes it, right? Like, objectively speaking, there's a lot of ways to measure success in pro wrestling, but ultimately, to me, is somebody who prides themselves on being able to go inside the ring. Crowd investment is massive. So the louder you are and the rowdier you are, that means I'm doing my job. And if I'm doing my job, then I feel fulfilled, right? That's my livelihood. We're there to compete in front of an audience. By all means, be the audience you want to be.
We will take you up on that challenge, Alex. I'm looking forward to it.
And we fully expect those UK fans to be off the chain too, after 8 years.
You're in the north as well, and we're a little bit rowdier up here, and in Glasgow as well.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And next up, we have Billy from Scottish Wrestling Podcast. Hey, Billy. Are you on mute?
There we go. I'm one of the many that have caught myself on mute. Thanks for letting me be part of this again. I'm glad to get to speak to you guys, especially that you're coming back to the UK. Glasgow. So, of course, Scottish Wrestling Podcast, I'm going to speak about Glasgow. So Glasgow is a special place for Impact Wrestling. It's seen debuts like Drew Galloway and MVP. And with the upcoming return of Grado, the trend looks to continue with the crowd's going to go nuts, as it is in the north as well for Scotland. Gail, you've wrestled in Scotland a handful of times now. What do you think it is about the Scottish crowd that's made it a must visit for Impact Wrestling? And Alex, last time you wrestled in Scotland, you're X Division champion. So what's it like going to Glasgow now as Impact World Champion?
Oh, let's see. It's so hard for me to compare where I was a decade and a half ago to where I am now. I do remember that particular tour you're referencing in 2009, just being the tour of a lifetime. And every single crowd we performed in front of made it feel like I made every correct decision to get to this exact moment in time. And I have to give Glasgow props for being one of those crowds. So I'm really looking forward to going back, and this time representing the entire company on my shoulders. And that's stressful, but it's a stress that I somewhat enjoy. Scratch that, not somewhat, totally enjoy. So to be the face of the company, I don't take that lightly. And because we haven't been to the UK in so long, I feel like I owe it to everybody that we're going to be performing in front of to absolutely bust my ass. And I plan on doing that.
Yeah. And for myself, you know, I think it's wrestler brain that we forget. For myself, I forget a lot, but for some reason, the Glasgow fans, I remember so clearly. And just like you said, Drew Galloway's debut, you know, Grado, just his entrance alone and the fans singing along and those, you know, those moments, and just EC3. And I think I'm not sure if that was the match or the hair versus hair match, but I felt like that was Glasgow. Just like certain memories are so clear to me, and the fans, and I have family there actually, because I'm married to a British man, and my whole family actually lives in Glasgow there through him. So I'm really looking forward to seeing family and being able to perhaps perform in front of them or make an appearance, and just being there with that energy again. Those fans just gave me the chills. I remember having goosebumps. So we're looking forward to being back there.
I can't wait for you guys to come. Wales and England have had their big shows recently. This is going to be our big show for us. So I can't wait. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
And if it's a success, we'll be back again multiple times.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go to America now. Going back to our country over here, and we're going to go to George from What Do You Call It podcast. George.
How's it going, everyone? I'm also from England. Sorry.
You are from England. Okay.
I can do an American impression, but I don't really, want to make an ass of myself. But yeah, from the UK, proper excited for UK to come back. So Impact's come to the UK. It's going to be awesome. I saw Impact's about 10 years ago in the UK. It was an amazing show. So I know you both have come to the UK before, both part of the first UK tour as well. So I'd like to ask, what are your favourite things about the UK that when you do come over here, you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this, or I can't wait to visit that?
I would say, honestly, being immersed in different cultures is one of the perks of the job, if you're adventurous enough. And being able to enjoy different cuisines, being able to just associate with different people in different towns, being able to see different things. And it doesn't have to be something spectacular. Like, I'm just as excited seeing Big Ben as I am seeing an old Irish church, right?
Yeah.
But if you truly view all of these things through a fresh lens, because we're all very fortunate to be able to do this, then it's really quite magical. And on top of that, too, to just be so appreciated and wanted. I think ultimately that's what every wrestler wants, is they want somebody to desire to see them, more or less. And I fully respect the fact that this time around in the UK, there's a lot of people who probably didn't see me before. If they were watching Impact 5 or 6 years ago, maybe they don't know who I am. So I have to make sure that I etch my name into their minds. I'm gonna work very hard to do so, but it's a lot easier to do that work when you're in front of a crowd that really, truly wants to be there.
I agree. Having those fans that we haven't performed for in a long time is going to be so special. Just the adrenaline we're going to get from that. And Alex, just like you guys probably saw him as that tag team specialist back then, and now you get to see him as our world champion. I think, just watching him and Chris Sabin perform differently. I think they're different performers when they're performing together as a tag team as they are as individual wrestlers. So I think that that's going to be really special. And as he mentioned, the cuisine, I want some chips and curry when I go from a proper chippy place.
You have a batter sausage or normal sausage with
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You have batter sausage or normal sausage with the chippy.
Yes, exactly. And some mushy peas and some Indian food, because you guys do it the best over there. So
Nice. Well, look forward to your return. I hope you all have a great day, and Impact, let's do this. Awesome.
yes, let's do it. Thank you so much.
No worries.
We're going to America. I made a mistake on that last one. And we are going to Jim from the Miami Herald, who we know and love. Hi, Jim.
Hey, all right. Everyone can hear me okay?
Yes. I can hear you.
All right, great. Hey, Gail, first of all, just tell us about the incredible women's division that you really helped push back in the day, you and Awesome Kong and many others as well, of course. But right now, and some of the newer talents, it's their new champion and all. I'd like to do that and then ask Alex one question. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me when this division started in 2007, really when it really flourished, what it would become current day, I'm so proud of the fact that it's become a cornerstone for Impact Wrestling, and the division. It's becoming to the point where the girls have, 3 or 4 matches on a pay-per-view, main eventing pay-per-views. I never got to have that. That was a bucket list thing for me, and I never got to accomplish it. But Deonna Purrazzo has accomplished it multiple times now, Mickie James, and I'm so happy for them. And just to see where it's at now is beyond my dreams of what they could have accomplished. And I thank Impact Wrestling for continuing to put them on that pedestal and giving them the opportunity and trusting them to perform at the level that they do. So.
And Alex, for you, now that you are the Impact World Champion and your career, you've accomplished so much. It's incredible. But I'm curious, now for you, was this something that's been in your mind for a while? Did this opportunity just sort of come up? How did that opportunity come up for you to have this opportunity to be the world champion?
Sure. So, no, it wasn't in my mind for a while. Many years ago, I actually stopped looking too far into the future. And what I ended up doing was just taking things in very, very short increments and doing my best with that amount of time. As somebody who had issues with anxiety and depression, I found that if you worry too much about things that haven't happened yet, you're really wasting quite a bit of energy, because like 99% of the time, they're not going to occur. The way this came about was a very slow burn. When I came back after getting inoculated in the fall of 21, I worked my ass off, literally and figuratively, and just killed it every single time where I did my best to do so. And eventually people noticed, and eventually Impact noticed, and eventually Impact brought me back, and I killed it there. And what you saw was consistent performances, and again and again and again, working as hard as I possibly could and just making the most of every opportunity until finally you end up, you're working a title match. That's it, right? You do the best with everything that you are given. So when I step up to the plate, I don't miss, right? I swing and I hit home runs, and I made sure to do that in the championship match. Now you're looking at the new world champion.
Well, thank you both so much. And I'm so happy for you, Alex, inspiring to a lot of people and wrestlers. And real quick, go Rhino. I don't know if you can see it. I got my bit Detroit. I got my bit Detroit here. Inspiration with Rhino in the background.
Rhino's
So
watching.
that was for you, Shelley. That was for you, Shelley.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Jim.
Bye,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next, we have Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Hey guys, how we doing?
How are you?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for taking my question here. I'd like to ask a question to both of you, actually. I want to talk about the incredible main event scene in Impact Wrestling right now, and just the incredible job that Impact has done in building the credibility of all of its championships. Both of you have been such a huge part in helping set the standards of what it takes to become a champion in Impact Wrestling. And on any given night, we can see any champion in that main event spot. So my question is there a little bit of friendly, let's call it competition in that locker room when it comes to maybe the knockouts, the X Division, and that world title scene of who's going to get that main event spot in all those big shows?
Oh man, as far as competition goes like that, not that I know of. And quite frankly, I don't care. I care about my performance alone. I hope everybody else kills it in their matches too. But if I take my eyes off the prize, then I'm not devoting 100% of my attention to what I need to do. And to me, that's irresponsible. And I think really, truly, it speaks to my work ethic. But that work ethic is reciprocated amongst most of the other champions that I've seen. And again, I don't pay tons of attention to it, but everybody's working their ass off to provide the absolute best in-ring product. And I think that's why Impact, especially this year, is starting to catch some eyes. It's probably the most underrated wrestling product that I've seen in my 30 plus years of being a wrestling fan.
I agree with Alex. I think you never know who you're going to see in that title picture. I think Impact has been very consistent in terms of, utilizing most of our talent, or if not all of our talent. So you never know who's going to have that one opportunity and step up to the plate. And like Alex said, it's, for me, just watching from the outside backstage, and that work ethic is very important and plays a factor, and who wants it the most and who's willing to put in the most work. And Alex waited a long time for that opportunity, and he seized it. So who's that next person?
Absolutely. I just think it's just a tip of the cap to all you guys. I don't know another wrestling promotion in the world where any champion on any given night can slide into that main event spot and everybody's excited for it. So I just love what Impact's doing. I agree with everything you guys are saying. And you UK fans, we want to hear you singing some Impact Wrestling theme songs as well. Okay, as Canadians, we're proud fans over here, but we want to hear what songs you guys are going to be singing over there. We're looking forward to it. Best of luck, guys. Enjoy the tour.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Next up, we have Malcolm from Muscle Memory.
Hey, how's it going, guys? How are you?
Malcolm, how are you?
Doing well. And I'm so excited for the Impact Wrestling to go back to the UK. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I have two questions for you guys. Alex, there's so many challengers coming after the Impact World title, but one of them made himself very known on television talking about Option C, and that's Leo Rush. Do you see him as a legitimate threat for your Impact World Championship?
Oh, no doubt. I've known Leo going on, let's see, 7 years, I think. And I was one of his first big matches in Ring of Honor many, many years ago. I've rarely seen talents in major promotions just appear with such God-given skills. And from the word go, he was very, very skilled. Obviously, he did very well for himself throughout the course of his career. And he had some ups and downs, especially with a shoulder repair, right? Like he had a rotator cuff repair, and that's a very, very painful injury to come back from. And he did it, and he performed at a very high level. You saw that in New Japan, you've seen it at Impact, but I welcome him as an Option C competitor or challenger. I think the world of him, aside from acting like a bit of a bell ender to save in myself. But as far as in ring goes, I mean, I would love to test myself against him.
Amazing. Yeah, he's definitely a guy that could be a world champion one day in Impact Wrestling. I'd love to see the match between you guys. But moving into like Gail's question, right now, like Trinity's doing such a great job as Impact Knockouts champion. Is there like a certain dream match you have for her in mind of her defending that championship?
There's just so many, looking at that Impact Knockouts roster, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I want to see this person face this person. And the matchups, dream matchups are endless, right? Of course, we're seeing Deanna already, but I don't know, maybe who knows what's going to happen with Jordan Grace these days. I mean, she may return, she may not. That would have been a nice matchup. Kylan King, we've already just gotten a little taste of that, and it was wonderful. So I would love to see some more action there. I mean, it's endless, to be honest. And, with Bound for Glory coming up October 21st, you never know. I'm really happy for Trinity. She is the star that I hope she would be, and even beyond. What a cheerleader for our company, new cheerleader, and she's just doing great. I'm really
amazing. You didn't say your name in there. I'd love to see you guys go at it for the title.
Well, if I get back in there, of course. Honestly, Trinity is probably the most athletic girl I've ever seen step into the squared circle. So, I would never say no. That's for sure.
Definitely looking forward to that one day, possibly. But thank you guys so much, and good luck in the UK.
Appreciate it, Malcolm. Thank you. So next we got Owen Young from Pile Driver and the Newcastle Chronicle Live.
Hi there. Hi, how are you doing? So basically I'm wearing two hats today. So I have my my Pile Driver hat on, and I have my I was gonna say, so I've basically I've got a couple of things. So my first question is for Pile Driver, and that's to Alex in particular. And it's just a little bit about you touched on it earlier, about what it's like being world champion now, and kind of being a leader in the locker room. What is that like, kind of coming overseas? Do you feel the pressure of kind of being the face of the brand when you kind of bring them to another country?
Yes and no. I got the question when I became champion, how does it feel? And the answer was it didn't feel any different, because I was doing all the things that I thought a champion should before I became champion. And to be honest with you, I'm going to bring that mentation overseas with me as well. What more can I do? I do everything I possibly can. And that's proven to be enough so far. So if I have to make changes, I will. But I work my ass off for Impact, and I'm very happy to do so, and I'm very proud to do so. Again, I respect the fact that I'm going to be performing in front of fans who maybe have no idea who I am, or maybe it's their first time going to Impact, and we have to leave an impression. So I plan on doing that.
That's great. My second question is for Chronicle Live in Newcastle, so it's a little bit more focused on that particular area. So I was wondering whether you have, obviously I know you will both have experience wrestling in Newcastle in the past, and I was just wondering if you have any particular memories of coming to the city, or kind of just being on tours where Newcastle's been one of the locations.
Oh, honestly, my experience in the UK is very, very, very limited. Handful of UK tours for Impact, and they probably total like less than 3 weeks, all three of them, if you combined them. So I'm still going over to the UK as a bit of a rookie as far as that part of the world goes. You compare it with something like Germany or Japan, where I've spent copious amounts of time, and it's something that I really have only dipped my toes into the water of. And I think that's why I'm so excited to go. It's still new to me.
I think,
for you, Gail, as well as
yeah, I've wrestled in Newcastle, but I don't believe with Impact Wrestling, because I believe this is the first time Impact is hitting Newcastle.
I believe so, yeah.
So I've hit Newcastle with different companies or in different scenarios. So I'm really excited that Impact's going to actually hit Newcastle for the first time. And all the fans in all the other cities have been outstanding, off the chain. So Newcastle will not be any different, I'm assuming. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for answering the questions.
Next, we have Scott. Oh no, Scott is not working. So until we are waiting for our next person. Oh, we do have another person. We have Jamie from Real Wrestling. Jamie, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, Jamie.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for having us. I will apologize if you can hear my baby. Is getting grouchy, so sorry about that. You can hear him crying. I just want to ask, basically, Alex, how does it feel now, obviously, for you transitioning from such an amazing tag team wrestler to now obviously being such an amazing singles competitor? Like, do you see there being much of a difference, or do you just take it all in your stride, like it's just another day in the office kind of thing?
They're massively different. They are night and day different. To compare tag team wrestling and singles wrestling, you're comparing 4 moving parts versus 2. I had a lot of experience in singles matches, especially the past 4 or 5 years since I graduated medical school, and I came back to wrestling while still working in physical therapy. And I think that served me well. I've actually had this conversation with Saban many times, and he agrees. But this time apart, having all these singles matches and then coming back together, it's like scar tissue, right? Like it mends on top of each other, and it's stronger than it was the first time around. And I think both of our singles careers have benefited us massively as a Motor City Machine Guns. And I would say the same thing for Kushida and I as the Time Splitters too. Having these singles experiences, we have this utmost amount of pressure, and you really don't have anybody to tag out to. You don't have anybody else to rely on. You don't have anybody else to watch your back. You have to rely on oneself and be resourceful. Has truly made you a better competitor, but it's also made you a better tag wrestler too.
I agree.
Brilliant.
I feel watching all 3 of you, you mentioned Kushida, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, it's just a whole different experience watching them in a tag team match and watching them in a singles match. Both compelling, but different, I don't know, different excitement levels, different storytelling, different, I don't know. I love watching them all. I guess the tag team action is a little bit more fast paced, whereas watching them in an individual singles match, yeah, it's just another level.
Yeah. I mean, Gail, is there anybody UK based that you'd like to face? Should you be given the opportunity?
Ooh, UK based. You know what? I mean, I want to know who's currently hot over there, to be honest, because going over there for British Boot Camp years ago really opened my eyes to the amount of talent that's over there, the amount of great talent that's over there. So I would love to see who's hot over there and take a look while we're over there and see what wrestlers are up and coming.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the tour of the UK, and I will be seeing you there.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And next is our friend from France, Stephanie.
I love listening to that. Well, yeah, everyone's friend from France. Sorry. I have a little cold in the summer. True, because we are completely cold in France, as anyone knows. I had a question for Alex, and was really hesitating to ask it, but I will. The fact of seeing you win against all odds, it was really genuinely. It's against all odds. Yeah. It was a genuine surprise and something that 20 years in a career. I'm gonna ask that: would you have been happy if you hadn't win the World Championship once in your career, or were you happy with that? Things didn't happen.
I would have been happy if I've never won a world championship and I had to stop wrestling. Yes. Am I happier because I did become a world champion? Yes, absolutely. And it's just this seal, right? Like it's a seal of greatness. And it puts you in a club of these exceptional wrestlers, a lot of whom were my heroes growing up. So to be able to rub elbows with the people I idolized and all the other peers, generation speaking, who have ascended to such great heights is something that's very valuable to me.
And do you feel like winning now, as you are 40 years old and you have such a career, makes it very different? I feel like it's even more, I would say, legit.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. A lot of people become world champions at a younger age than I did. A lot of people can't wrestle the way I do when they're 40. And I think I'm an aberrant, I'm an outlier, and I'm somewhat proud of that, to be honest with you. I'm proud to be the exception to the rule. And again, I'm extremely proud to be Impact World Champion.
Everyone knows that 40 is the new 20.
Yeah, he's not a day over 30. Look at him.
Look at this lovely lady. She's younger than ever.
I'm talking about Alex. Look at us young.
No, but that's true. The best wrestlers now over 40. So
yeah,
let's go. So see you in UK.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie. I guess that is, that's a good thought process there, that sometimes you win it early in your career and maybe don't know how to handle things, or just look at things in a different perspective, and maybe appreciate it a little bit more when you've waited all this time.
Yeah, if I was 25 and I won it, no chance, man. And then nowadays too, like guys are setting records in the NFL at 45, so longer.
Great representation of us 40, of us talent in our Next, we have Kevin from Sportskeeda. Kevin.
Oh man, I appreciate coming in at 40 years old on the 40-year-old conversation. Yeah, a little gray in the beard. I'm not dying to, I promise. Alex, obviously a lot of history with you in Chicago, Illinois, the upcoming Bound for Glory event. You guys just had Impact here as well. You have a lot of history here as well. I believe some people in the AAW locker room were very, very happy to hear about your recent win. Talk about this title win at this stage of your career. You talked about your heroes, many people who've held that title before you. When you got that title, everyone says, well, are you this type of world champion? Are there guys who had that title, or women in this case as well, who've held the Impact World title that you compare yourself to? An AJ Styles, a Jeff Jarrett, many Hall of Fame guys. You're now in. Is there a guy who said, I want to be as good as that guy? Specific world champions that you felt, I got to carry it the way they did?
No, absolutely not. There's been a ton of great champions, but you would drive yourself nuts if you had to compare yourself to Alan or Kurt or Jeff. There's been so many people who have held that belt who are just so exceptionally talented. I don't even think about that. I don't compare anybody. I feel like that's a waste of time. I can only do the best that I can do, right? And I feel like, again, I said this previously in this press conference, that's been good enough. I would be remiss to not consider the idea that there's a certain standard that has to be upheld, and I'm aware of that. But at the same time, I'm killing it. And a lot of that is because I've got so many great people surrounding me too. We talked about maybe being champion at a younger age. Well, a lot of people when they were younger, they probably think that they did it. I'm a product of environment, and the Impact environment now is a place I want to be in. It's incredibly special. Fans can't see it. People from the outside can't see it, but it's the most cohesive company I've ever been a part of. And I think what they do see is this in-ring product where everybody's working as hard as they humanly can. And that's special.
A follow-up question about Bound for Glory. You have this upcoming event, Multiverse, where you're going to have this. It's already being built at it. Now, I've heard more fans call it a dream match than anyone, even the people promoting the match. You and Hiroshi Tanahashi, talk about that standard. There's a built-in standard for this match between you and Tanahashi, first time ever. Is it going to exceed that standard? Is it going to blow it out of the water? Because a lot of people expect that it will.
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm going in there to wrestle Tana, who, when I left TNA in 2012 and got to New Japan under contract, I was there for 3 years. That guy literally carried the company on his back. So if there was ever somebody that I was going to compare myself to as a world champion, honestly, it's nobody from Impact. It's Tana, because I saw him drag this company out from basically the ground floor and put it into new heights. He had to rebuild that thing. And now, granted, he also had a company that was behind him, and he had great coworkers and great management, much like I do. But that's who my role model as a world champion was. It was Tanahashi. That was my senpai. That was my hero when I was in Japan. That was somebody that I got to team with and train with and ride in the back of the bus with. And I think out of everybody who's calling this thing a dream match, honestly, it's the biggest dream for me.
Thank you guys for the time. Good luck with everything going on in the UK. Excited for it. Thanks, guys.
Dream match for Alex, dream match for the fans. So we all win, right? Next up, we have Michael from Lucha Libre online.
Hey,
Hi,
Gail.
Michael.
Hello, Alex. How are you doing today?
Great.
Glad to know you're doing well. I have two questions. The first one, in my opinion, you have the best roster you've ever had in the last 8 to 10 years easily. Impact is complete. Like, you have the Knuckles division, solid tag team division, X division. The main event scene is, brilliant, with a lot of talent competing for that title. Alex is the champion. How does it feel to be back in the UK at this, with this momentum of having one of the best rosters you've ever had?
I think it's nice to go back with a fresh coat of paint on the product. And I would agree with you. Honestly, I think the roster that we have currently, at least since I came back about 3 years ago during the pandemic, is certainly the strongest it's ever been. On top of that, too, you have an open door policy, which I think just lends itself to more talent coming in, like Subculture, for example. There's so many people who are going to be going to the UK for the first time, too. And typically when people go into a new area for the first time, man, they dress to impress. They want to go there and they want to make sure that people remember them. So I'm curious to see other people's reactions. And again, this is probably the third time I've said it, but I'm going there as a flag bearer of the company. I'm going there carrying the company on my back, and that's not something I take lightly. So I'm excited to actually represent the company in that capacity.
Brilliant. And my last question, you haven't been to, you've been in Australia, Canada, now UK, all around the US, but we haven't seen Impact back in Mexico since early 2020. It's been a little bit over 3.5 years. This question is for both of you. Do we still have the possibility, not maybe this year, but 2024, is Mexico a possibility, or either another country, Latin America, for Impact Wrestling?
I have no idea, but I can say that Impact keeps good relationships with all the major companies around the world. And I think that lends itself to Impact being able to relocate for a set of tapings, whether that's to the UK or whether it's Australia or whether it could potentially be Mexico as well.
I definitely see a positive outcome for that. We just made our way back to Canada since pre-COVID. And so I would say Mexico would probably be our next spot since we had great fans there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Thank you.
We're going to try Scott from PW Mania. Scott, are you there?
Hello.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
I appreciate you guys doing this. This is always a blast to see, for sure.
Yes.
So my question is first for Alex. You touched upon it a little bit before about how the last time you were in the UK, you were a part of obviously one of the greatest tag teams to ever exist in wrestling and Motor City Machine Guns. How important is it to you to go into the UK now as the top champion of Impact?
It's pretty massive. And you know what? Actually, believe it or not, now that I'm thinking more and more about it, the last tour I did in the UK was in 2012, and Chris Sabin was out with a knee injury at that point. So I actually went over there as a singles competitor and locked horns with Doug Williams, Austin Aries, and Mark Haskins, who are all very, very talented individuals. Now, that was a totally different time. To go over as the face of the company and most likely main event at least one of these shows, I would imagine. As we said, there's huge amounts of talent, so anybody can main event an Impact show if you're a champion. But I would imagine at least once. I'm really excited about that. And the UK fans historically have always been awesome. I did 3 tours, 2008, 2009, and then 2012. You know, that's like years apart in some cases. And the way they welcomed us just made it feel like, yeah, this is the reason I got into this. This is what makes wrestling fun. Ultimately, this is a sport. It should be fun. We play sports. And I remember thinking I was born to be a pro wrestler when I was wrestling in front of those crowds. So from a very heartrending standpoint, it's just the most enjoyable experience to be able to perform in front of crowds that lively.
Definitely. And my next question is just for Gail Kim. For the Knockouts division, the current state of the Knockouts division, obviously you helped build the original Knockouts division, and you know you're an absolute legend. What are your thoughts on the current state and just how far they've come, and the main eventing shows to Trinity now being the champion?
I just mentioned this on another question. Same thing. Like if you would have told me this when that Knockouts division started, I would have probably cried at the moment, right? Knowing how far it's come and what it's really blossomed into, and all the girls. I mean, it's such a solid roster right now, and it kind of reminds me of all the different personalities we had when we started off with the Kong, the ODBs, the different styles. And, you know, we have Virtuosa, and we have the Kylan Kings, and we have the Masha Slamoviches. You know, there's just so much talent on this roster. I'm so proud of how far they've come and what the company's doing with them. So we're really blessed.
Definitely, and lots of luck.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Just before we go on to our next media outlet, I just wanted to remind everyone that we are coming back to the UK. Obviously, that's why we're on this press pass today. And tickets will go on sale this Friday at 9 a.m. UK time. So don't forget to go to impactwrestling.com for your tickets and spread the word. Next, we're going to have Jerry from Irish Wrestling Podcast. Jerry, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah. Can you see me?
Awesome. I can see I can't see you, but you can go ahead with your question. We can hear you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your time, guys. Just just to bring you back to the tickets you mentioned, the sale. We're expecting it to sell out pretty quickly. Some of the venues are pretty intimate, so you know it's definitely will sell out quickly. Do you think it's going to be a tester for future shows to come back to the UK, maybe regularly every year?
Oh, we definitely hope so. I mean, that's what we're aiming to come back, you know, and do a full, maybe multiple cities, more than the 3 cities that we're hitting now. We'll only grow from where we're starting now. It's been a while. It's been almost 8 years. So yeah, test the waters, and I'm sure it's going to be a positive outcome, and we're looking forward to it.
I hope
Alex?
so. Alex, one final question for you. In 2009, you were defending the X Division title on that tour in multi-man matches. One of your opponents was Eric Young, who is now back in Impact. Do you think that will be something that you would be interested in revisiting a match with Eric Young for maybe the Impact title?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I do remember those matches. It was me versus Eric Young versus Jay Lethal versus Doug Williams. And we had a few 4-ways, but Eric Young is somebody I've known since I was 18 years old. Anytime I get to wrestle him, it's a real treat.
Excellent. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Scott from Eat, Sleep, Suplex, Retweet.
Hi guys. Thanks again for inviting me. Hi. Following on kind of from my question answered earlier on, I mean, it's great to have you guys back in the UK. I last went to an Impact show in 2013. I believe, Gail, you were on that tour, but I didn't get a chance to see Alex Shelley, so I'll be happy to come to these shows, get to see you in person. But looking at Impact Wrestling, as people have said, you guys are going back and forth from BUS and Canada. You've went to Australia recently, come back to the UK. Do you think at this stage with Impact Wrestling and the kind of wealth of talent from different countries that you have, it's kind of important for Impact Wrestling to continuously be going international, so like different countries, and there are other countries that are maybe at the top of your mind that you'd like to visit after the UK?
Yeah, personally, I would love to see Impact Wrestling, and obviously, I've got an affinity for that country. I spent so much time there throughout my 20s into my early 30s. But if I had to pick a place for them to run a full tour or even just one show, it would definitely be in Japan, partnership with Japan Pro Wrestling.
Might as well hit Korea while we're over there. It's not that far away. My home country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Lee from Perched on the Top Rope. Hi, Lee.
How are you? How you guys doing today?
Great.
How are you?
Doing great. Alex, earlier brought up kind of being like a rookie to the UK still. I looked up your winning percentage, actually 70% under Impact, and you have the opportunity to make that 77% with this coming UK tour. But my question is actually going to be aimed to the both of you. In regarding both of your careers, if you could go back now to your Impact debuts, what would you tell yourselves and why?
Oh, man. So my debut was against Hector Garza, Elix Skipper, and Chris Sabin. And my partners were Roderick Strong and Michael Shane. I think if I had to tell myself anything back then, it was take it easy on Sabin because you're going to end up working a lot with this guy going forward.
For myself, I don't know. I don't believe in changing anything. Or I guess I would tell myself maybe to be a little bit more patient. I wasn't impatient though when I debuted, but over time, because they said they were going to start a women's division, it took a little bit longer than I thought. But if I had known that, then I would have told myself just be a little bit more patient, and look what it's become today. So
yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you so much. And we have Rocco from the group. Am I saying it right? Guru Room?
Yes, yes.
Guru Room. I know I've talked to you before.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
wanted to make
yeah,
sure I
that's
said
right.
it right.
You were a guest a while ago on the show for your song.
Yes, Guru Room show.
Yeah. Well, Gail, the question is for you. Like you paved the way, and with so many great bouts. Like I've been following your wrestling for years, and if you would step back in the ring one more time, is there anyone currently you would love to face, and do you want to be a heel or a face?
Oh yeah, I tried to be a heel one time after a long time, and I have to find the groove of being a heel. So I guess babyface is my natural for me. And I get this question a lot. So I guess there are so many talented women out there. I could name honestly probably over 5 women right now that I want to face. So more than anything, I think I've done certain types of storylines, but if I was ever going to come out of retirement, it would 100% have to be a dream match for the fans, and something that a dream match scenario, because I feel like I've pretty much done everything else, and I'd like to do things that I've never done before, really. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope to see you both in Philly. I'm going to be at the show in Philly. That's where I live, of course. So I hope to see you both there.
We'll definitely see Alex Shelley there. I'm not sure about me, but Alex Shelley will be there with his dream match that night for you.
Exactly. Yes, it's going to be fun.
So thanks, Rocco.
Thank you.
We have Himanshu. Am I saying that correct? Himanshu?
Yes, this is Himanshu from Fort Lauderdale.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this call. I hope you're both having a great day.
Yes, thank you.
My question is for Gail Kim. Now, of course, we're looking forward to the UK tour. Although I'd love to see an India tour someday. But anyway, another show that we're looking forward to is Multiverse United 2 on August 20th in Philadelphia. Now, yesterday, the Impact Wrestling Twitter account posted a video. It was Deonna Purrazzo, and she had challenged anyone from New Japan or Stardom for Multiverse United 2. Now, the Wrestling Observer had reported that New Japan Strong Women's Champion Julia will be in Philadelphia that weekend. Coincidentally, she also retweeted that video from Deonna. Now, Julia were to face Deonna. Could you tell us if you've seen, heard of, or read anything about Julia? And I'd also like to ask, like, what do you think of the potential of more wrestlers from Stardom possibly appearing on Impact in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard very little. I know that she is she the current champion now? And she beat Willow.
She is the current champion. She
Yes.
beat
So,
Willow, I think.
I mean, anyone who's going to be the new Japan Women's Champion, I'm sure has a lot of credibility, and I would love to see more talent from Stardom. I've actually talked about this in the past. I love their product. I love the promotion. I've seen a lot of talent come out of there when I'm watching other women's promotions. That's the first one that I will tune into. So having their champion face the Virtuosa, who is, to me, probably one of the best females out there right now. I mean, consistency, 5-star matches. I mean, Deanna's killing it right now, and I think she's one of the ones to beat. So I'd love to see their champion face up against her. It'd be a dream match for all the fans out there as well.
Well, besides Julia, are there any other names in particular that you know from Stardom or you've heard about that you'd like to see compete in an Impact Wrestling ring someday?
I mean, I would just love to see a mash of, our girls combined with maybe those girls come over and maybe do a special. But I've talked about this in the past. These are all dream scenarios that I think that the fans would love, that they would win out of it, and just see a little bit of a special mashup, things that you never normally get to see, because we get to see the Impact Wrestling Knockouts face each other all the time. You never know who they're going to face week in and week out, but to see a different roster of talented women and a different style as well would prove to be very interesting to me.
Well, thank you for answering my question, Gail, and I wish you both a very successful tour of the UK.
Thank you so much. So I think that's it for us on the Facebook Press Pass today, talking about the UK tour. And don't forget, Bound for Glory is right before our UK tour on October 21st in Chicago. So get your tickets. Those tickets are available now. Also, the UK tour tickets are on sale this Friday at 9 a.m. UK time. That'll be 4 a.m. Eastern time in the US. So check out impactwrestling.com to get those tickets. That'll be the dates from October 26th to 28th. We're hitting Glasgow, Scotland, Coventry, and Newcastle, England. So we're looking forward to seeing all the UK fans for the first time in almost 8 years. And we're going to kick some ass, right, Patrick? I'm sorry, I called you Patrick. Alex Shelley. Bad, Gail, bad. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you, Gail.
Okay, we'll see you soon.